Hello. Oh, I'm got sound. I've got sound. I think we're in business. Aye. So anyway, another smooth entry into the live stream we're doing here. We're back for another evening of shooting the shit, where I basically ramble as much as I can through my unprepared, non-existent notes for an hour to anyone who's out there and prepared to listen. There's not many people listen to me in the real world, and I find it quite amazing how I said this to a guy today. So basically, where I work, there's two different factories. One's a nut factory and the other one's non-nuts, because it was quite interesting actually. I was talking to Don Lester and David Parker, and they were explaining what were they saying about the nut allergy wasn't actually caused by nuts, but it was caused by how they were growing, and the nutrients in the soil are not there. And they were spraying lots of fields that had cotton in them with anything just to get the cotton to grow, and then they were using that same field to grow the nuts, and that's what's causing the nut allergies. But anyway, so I got moved. Normally I'm working in a nut factory, and I went to the other place after the furlough, and I want to stay there, but I got moved back to the nut factory for a couple of days. So I met a guy who I hadn't seen for a while. So at tea time, instead of going to the socially distanced canteen, hello everybody, hello Stephen, hello Mo, thanks for tuning in, and whoever else is out there. So instead of going to the socially distanced canteen, he doesn't like that either. So he went to this other and took me with him. So basically, we're sitting in this place, and I forgot what I was going to say now. What was I talking about at the start of this? It's hard when I go off in tangents, and then I say hello to you guys, and I lose my place. Anyway, yeah, so I was basically saying to him, the whole world, it's crazy how you can't talk to anyone. It's like they're all continuing as normal, just packing these boxes, and I'm like saying, hello, hello. You ken the whole world's falling to bits out there. The whole world's, going doolally and falling to tits, and we're just still packing boxes and nobody's talking about it. I just find it amazing how everyone isn't talking about it constantly and trying to investigate it. Where do they think this is all going to lead to? Do you think this is just, there is an actual coronavirus, we'll keep our masks on for a while, then we'll take them off, and it's all going to go back to normal, and just that's it, folks, It's just a wee blip we're having here in society. This is my I Love Emma mug. Emma bought me this for Christmas, and she doesn't let me come on here. She says, you want a wee cup of tea before I start every live stream? Making sure I've got a mug. And today I said, I could show some other mugs. I could get my Knob Stewart mug or my Pink Floyd mug, or I can't even remember the other mugs I've got because I just get this one all the time. And she's like, no. And then Lucy last night, she says, I love your mug, Billy. And anyway, so every time I see this, that's my wee helper here. She's making me advertise herself, so other ladies out there don't get any ideas. You can chasing this hunk of a beast. Foisted love. So anyway, folks, I don't know how you guys are doing. How you doing out there? I don't know about you, but, see all this shit, man, it's fucking winding me up big time, I'm trying to remain calm because you don't want to add to the loosh, do you? You don't want to add to the things that these Archons and the gin and that feed off. But when you see again, I popped into Tesco on the way home from work, and it's just incredible to see the mass compliance that's going on with this. It's literally everyone today. There wasn't a single person not wearing a mask. Yesterday there was one, but today fully masked up. There was even a big, huge, burly, muscular guy with a Mohican wearing a mask. I was like, what's the world coming to? Yeah, the conspiracy one, you get that as well. It's just absolutely bananas. So at least, I can talk to you guys. It's like some solace in the world, I said the other night, it's like, what's the average? It's like one person in every 10,000 strong town that's, awake to what's actually going on. You can't believe that this is happening and people aren't investigating. Like, okay, they want to vaccinate us, that's quite obvious. So what's in a vaccine? Like Emma today, she was with her family, and she was telling her family, two sisters, like, do you know what's in a vaccine? And they're like, no. I was like, well, she started telling some of the ingredients. She's like, oh, really? Aye, really? And then one of her sisters did get a vaccine last week. It caused pain all the way down her arm. The doctors warned her before, this might cause some after effect. So that gets in her brain, that might be normal. Yeah. And but it's no normal, is it? It's fucking destroying your actual system. It's causing severe amounts of damage. And obviously, we all know, you guys there know, the one that's coming isn't your normal type vaccine. It's going to be a super vaccine. It's literally going to be able to program your brain and give you thoughts and just change your DNA and fuck with you big time. I'm just getting a couple more pictures up here. I'm not very well organised with this stuff. I know I'm trying to do 10 million things in the background and go to a job. And some people now, I've never had this interest in anything I've ever done before. I've been doing things online for 20 odd years, and now I'm starting to get some comments and stuff. So that's all much appreciated, and I'm happy to converse with you and whatnot. It's good to talk, basically, and as I said, not feel alone in this world. I'm just looking for a specific picture here right now. I can manage to see your comments tonight. Sometimes the system doesn't work very well, but you'll like this picture when I eventually find it. Yeah, but it's hard to live with all this just the insanity that's breaking out. It's hard for me before, knowing what was going on and what their plans were, but now it's blatantly in our face. I keep seeing other pictures I'm going to post. Here's basically, we'll talk about this one. A mask hole. Yeah, with you in solidarity. We've got to keep the faith. Yeah, I've my unicorn mask. Wife says she'll disown me. What's a unicorn mask? I'm not sure that is. Basically, here we go. You can't catch COVID-19 from person to person. See these people that still quote these numbers. It's incredible, In fact, Barry, I've seen somebody, you posted something, and then people come back and hit you with numbers. These many people have died, and this many people have died. You can't let these people hit you with this bullshit and stand for it. I just come and say, look, nobody's dying from this thing. I know it's hard for you to take on because obviously, it's everywhere. We're getting it rammed in our fucking throat, and the big fear factor, and we're all wearing masks. Obviously, we can't all be wearing masks because of something that's not real. They just find it so hard to take that information into their brains. But literally, it isn't real. So, zero tolerance in that thing. When everyone quotes me a number, I'm like, the virus cannot be tell them to go whatreallymakesyouill.com, Don and David Parker, check out Andrew Kaufman. Basically here, I think they've posted the thing last night, a virus is a lifeless microscopic particle that's never been proven to cause anything. In fact, except extreme global paranoia. But what it does do, it cleans your body of toxins. Here's the picture I was looking for. I'm coming up just now. So yeah, it's fine. They're dead material. They're not alive. They're expelled during the healing crisis. The guy I was talking to today, he was saying that he had a really bad flu around about November, just before he moved in with his mother, because he was getting a divorce and splitting up with his wife, and he was under a great deal of stress. And I was explaining to him that actually the stress he was under, and that was a big factor in the flu, because stress and radiation and these things, the body can't deal with them. So when you have the flu, that's your way of getting rid of these toxins. So you're not catching a flu from anybody. We're not spreading it around. The flu's a good thing, actually. The virus are good things, because what they're doing is they're getting rid of shit that your body can't otherwise get rid of through how it normally does, through urine or whatever other way it normally does. So it has to go to the next level, a cold, and go to the next level, a flu. This picture's taking a while to load. But anyway, we'll get there. Yeah, we've got thousands of viruses in our body. I hope you don't mind me going on about this, because it's vitally important. But Stephen, today you watched the interview I done last night with Stephen D. Kelly. If any of you get the chance to watch that, I really enjoyed that chat. And that's Stephen D. Kelly. My God, that guy's got a wealth of knowledge, And I just love talking to people like that, and you can just ask them questions, just because these people that think they know everything, that's a problem, isn't it? The BBC trains people to make them think that they're the experts. It's all done very cleverly. It's all mind manipulation. And it gives them, so when they quoting all this stuff back to you, they think they're, somehow informed. But actually, their head's just full of bullshit. You know the old Buddhist thing about a cup that's upside down, then no information can get in, if that's your mind, But if you have an open cup, it doesn't mean to say you let all the shit in, but you have to be open to new information. So at no point ever have I ever thought I knew it all. In fact, when I first started talking about all this stuff, I actually stopped myself after a while because I realised, actually, hold on a minute, there's layers to this, it's layers of the onion. So then I went further deeper into the research as hard as I could for many, many years until I'm at this point where, I feel as though I know more than your average punter, and I'm prepared to talk about it because we're all helping each other. And if you ever think you know everything, like for instance, for quite some time there, I thought the whole flat earth thing made sense, because of various things that people point out. But then Stephen D. Kelly gave me another perspective on that. And I'm like, oh, well, that's very interesting. So in some ways he agrees with the official science, but he kind of has another way of explaining how that is correct. Not the way they tell it. So the kind of, they just play us all off, don't they? They give us this piece of information, it contradicts with that, and it contradicts with that. And they just fuck with us. Like, for instance, the Spanish thing now, isn't it? Spain, again, it's going to be a 14-day quarantine. For what? All these experts are just talking bullshit. This picture's taking a long time to load. It'll come up just now. So anyway, Stephen, you enjoyed that interview. Yeah, he goes into some pretty deep things, Stephen D. Kelly, but the last 20 minutes of that interview, we just narrowed in on what the COVID thing is, where it's all leading, and well, funny you should say that, Mo, about being a Tibetan Buddhist, because this is just what we were talking about in the Stephen D. Kelly thing, about gravity and, in your dreams, you can fly in your dreams. Well, it's like our belief that we can't fly that stops us from flying. And Stephen D. Kelly was saying things like, if we're a service to others type person, then that kind of creates like a magnetism that allows us to be light and basically defy gravity. But if you're service to self, then you can't do that. So we were talking about the Buddhists. I says, so is that how some certain Buddhists can levitate? Have you ever seen this? Like, there is talk of Buddhists being in meditation and levitating. And then he also, Stephen D. Kelly, then said, the Irish dancers, is it Michael Flatterly or something like that? The Irish dancing, basically, he says what they're doing when they're tapping their feet is creating an energy field up and down from the top of the earth to the bottom of the earth, and then stick their arms out like an antenna, and they can actually, originally back in the day, they could levitate by doing that. I'm sure there's lots of things in our culture that we're still practicing, but we've lost the actual inherent meaning behind it. Again, talking on the Buddhism thing, I took a lot of LSD back in the day because I bought the whole rock and roll lifestyle myth, and I thought, fucking hell, let's get wasted quite a lot and be a rock star, but I forgot to learn an instrument because I was too wasted, basically. And then my friend kind of had a nervous mental breakdown, and I was close to one, but when he had that, I thought I better stop. And then I got into Buddhism. I went to Sainsbury Centre in Edinburgh and studied Buddhism for a year. And at the end of that year, there was a book we were studying by a guy called Sogyal Rinpoche, who wrote a book called The Tibetan Book of Living and Dying. So I went down to a 10-day retreat in London, and we were meditating our brains off, for 10 days. And we were taking this thing. At one point, we done a special practice, and we took this like water or something like that, and we were meditating. But I think it was probably a psychoactive substance back in the day, and the real thing, but it becomes kind of watered down now, so we kind of lose the original thing. So, yeah, there's lots of these practices. I guess there's a fast way to do it, to enlightenment and a short way, they say, don't they? So the fast ways like ayahuasca and these kind of things can give you a glimpse of it. Or even smoking dope, we can put your brain into theta waves. But I think it was Alan Watts, the philosopher in the 60s, he said, once you're like making a phone call to God or something, once you've got the message, you should hang up and then do the work, because nothing comes without effort. Yeah? We are frequency and light. Yeah, we have light bodies, don't we? We're basically, I don't know, I think kind of trapped in this dimension, and all the food and stuff that we eat keeps us down there. This photo is not loading, and it's annoying me quite a bit. Because, Stephen, I was going to show you your tinfoil hat photo. Ta-da! Here we go. There's something else not loading. I don't know what it is. So we'll just shut that one down. There you go. That's what we need. We should all start wearing them, eh? They're wearing their masks to show that they're gullible dickheads. We should be proud of our conspiracy theorist roots, aye? I quite like that one. The tinfoil hat. It's amazing how they dismiss people who actually do research and spend the time to look into other aspects of, life, really, and question why we're here and stuff like that. I'm sure we've all had this experience, guys, aye? You're talking to someone, because the knowledge, again, when we're talking to each other, I can talk about these things, you realise that what I'm talking about, you just kind of understand that, and you think, oh, people must be aware of this, but then you try to engage someone else, and then it's all of a sudden, it's like, oh, fucking hell, they're never going to get this in a million years, they just think I'm a complete fucking loony for even, you call them an idiot, but they're just a programmed robot, and I think we should have some fun. This is another thing we should do. I quite like it when people use humour. I don't know if this guy obviously must be having a laugh, but we should take it to extremes. Get ourselves like, you want me to wear a mask? All right, let's look like a fucking twat, Lucy, aye, how you doing, Lucy? I was going to ask you if you want to come on, because I did offer you last week for a date, and you never confirmed it. So I can give you a guest invite just now if you want, or we can arrange that some other time. Again, Mo and anyone, I'm going to get Barry on sometime soon, but if you just want to come on and share these things, what you're doing, introduce yourself to people and say where you are, because nobody needs to be an expert, but we're all kind of trying to come to terms with this, and we're all having these experiences that it's like surreal, isn't it? It's like we've entered an alternate reality whereby it's just been taken over by mask wearers. I can't get it. You've got to laugh, but I just can't get my head around the fact people are wearing these fucking masks. It's just bananas to me. They'll go into the shop, put the mask on, and then they'll come off at the shop, take the mask off, but they're still then passing each other in the street. Too big to talk right now. That's why I've had to stop, basically, as I was saying last night, because if I'm trying to talk to people and stuff, even from the night before, you're kind of groggy and stuff like that. If you probably know if you've been drinking and stuff, if you're not a smoker, but these toxins we do put in our body, they have to come out again, and we're not operating at our best capacity. But anyway, enjoy your bakeness. I'll tell you why I actually did stop. I was saying I was going to stop for ages, but then it's like it's almost about to run out, and then you just say, fuck it, I'll just get another batch. But with this batch, what I'll do is I'll not smoke it all the time. I'll just smoke it in the evening, late at night, or I'll just have it the weekend. But then I get home from work, I say, fuck it, I'll just have one after work, So you play tricks with your brain about what you're going to do. But the last wee while, I've actually been struggling for air. And I was still smoking for about 3 weeks after that. It's like, I'm breathing and I can't get enough air in my lungs. It was like majorly frustrating. I still get it now and again, but it's easing off since I've stopped quitting. So I thought maybe that was God giving me a sign that you can, Billy, maybe you should lay off it for a while. And then my bank balance is also another factor in that. So I'm just having to take a break from it. And to be honest, I do feel better, but I do get cravings, you know. The reason I like smoking the dope was because I like listening to music. And it also when you're watching movies and stuff, you can laugh and, you know, a certain humour is good with a smoke. You know, the fridge was too far away. You become very lethargic, don't you? We make excuses. People say it's not addictive, smoking weed, you know? Well, I can help you there, Barry, I guess, but if I do that, then if you give me a fiver's worth, we'll call it quits, if you get what I mean. But again, yeah, it's just, to me, it's like lethargic. So, like, for instance, since I've quit in a week now, I'm doing these blogs every day, and I've actually went and bought new furniture. I'm rearranging the house, you know. But when you don't do it, then you look at your house, and it turns into a pigsty. Luckily, I've got Emma here because I've been making her do the dishes and stuff like that, you know. And because I go to work and she better do fucking something, you can, to earn her keep. Aye, poor wee lass. This girl. So I met her 6 months ago, and she wasn't too aware. Well, I met her 10 months ago. She was living with me 6 months. Seems longer, but anyway. She's just been thrown into the deep end because I was playing some music and I was chilling out. Then I was keeping up to date with my, you know, latest research and digging down different rabbit holes as you do. And since the coronavirus thing, it's been basically, I'm still downloading music, but I'm hardly playing any. And I'm basically, it's 24 hours a day. As soon as I'm awake, it's conspiracy, you know, trying to keep up with this shite. And I really don't want to research it. I don't want to spend my life digging, doing all these fucking things, you know, but it's like a personal responsibility, I think, these days, you know, to actually be awake to this stuff. Because, again, in the Bible, we perish through our lack of knowledge. And these guys are telling us what they're doing. And it's our ignorance. Ignorance has the word ignorant in it, you know. We are ignoring what they're telling us, and that's got us in this position through our laziness and just taking our eye off the ball. And again, another thing is, if the government were so concerned about our health, then why is alcohol still, you know, prevalent? Oh yeah, we've got to get the pubs back open. Yeah, must get that. Yeah, alcohol's a very, 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 very destructive thing in society, you know, and that's deemed normal. It's fucking nothing normal about getting completely blitzed out your brain. It's much more worse than, again, dope. It makes you think, doesn't it? You usually find that people who smoke weed are more awake because they do research. Well, not necessarily research. They just think differently. They're a bit more, I don't know, conscious, whatever. Ignorance is bliss. Yeah, I'm like, I used to drink alcohol when I was younger, and, you know, if I'm at a party, I can join the party, but usually I hate the fucking hangovers. I'm no good at them these days. So that's a big factor why I don't drink. I don't really like it. I don't like the feeling. But I guess, basically, here's something Let me get this one up. Yeah. Basically, this truth that we search for, it's not really entertainment, all this stuff. A lot of people just look at it as entertainment, you know. But actually, once you do get all this truth, we should actually do something with it, you know. You make your own moonshine. That's fucking pretty brave stuff, Stephen. I guess that's, you know, I used to work in an ethanol factory in Grange, where it's got a big factory. So when I was 18, after 2 years apprenticeship at college, I then started working with a shift. So I was doing day shift, back shift, and the shift I worked with, it's quite weird actually. I met a guy who was a foreman there when I was doing my walk in Bowness yesterday. I seen this guy 3 days previously, and for some reason I thought his name was Tam Diel, who was a Labour politician, and apparently quite a lot of people in Falkirk quite liked this politician. And I think he might have been the only politician I've ever voted for, because I did vote once when I was back when I was 18 and didn't know any better, you know. And he seemed like a decent bloke, this Tam Diel, compared to the rest of them. And then I seen this guy, I thought, is that Tam Diel? So in this street yesterday, I said to this guy who was walking past me with the dog again, I said, "Is your name Tam?" Thinking he was Tam Dial. And he went, "Yeah, I'm Tam Jack." And I went, "Oh, I used to work beside me." And basically, he done a test with me out in the plant one time where I was an apprentice, and I opened this valve once, and this water scooshed out on the floor and splashed all over him. I said, "Do you remember that?" He said, "Yeah, I did." So anyway, it was good to hook up with him. And I mentioned this guy to him, Davy Cool, who worked in this shift that I joined. And he, back in the old days, they all used to drink the ethanol. But being, health and safety kind of stops people having fun, doesn't it? So it's kind of weaned out. But a few people did still drink it. So I joined this thing as 18. And Davy every night would say, "Fancy a wee livener?" In fact, day shift and back shift as well. "Fancy a wee livener, Billy?" Aye. So I'd go out to the plant, get the 97% ethanol, not the 99%, because that had like traces of benzene in it. So we weren't wanting to give ourselves cancer immediately. So we took the 97%, got a couple of cans of Aaron Brew, went in to do the sampling of the product, and then drank the ethanol at work. And then he drove me home. A few times I did actually steal some of the ethanol from the factory, which was highly, illegal, basically, because it was all monitored by customs and all that kind of stuff. One time, me and my friends went to see the Rocky Horror Show. We all got dressed in underwear, and I had the ethanol at the house. And needless to say, we were fucking 7 shades to the wind at that point. Yeah. So anyway, that's the thing with that alcohol. So basically, then I was drinking a lot, and it got to a point like after 5 or 6 years, from the age of 17 to about 24, my kidneys started to hurt quite a lot. And then that's when I started, actually kind of got married to get away from my friends, because they were all coming to my house. I was on shifts, and they would all on different shift patterns. So I was the guy in the middle, and they're all coming to my house to party every night, but they'd go back to their mothers for 5 days. Meanwhile, I'm fucking a wreck. And then I started taking acid, and then basically it was time to meditate and clean myself out, you can. It's our culture, isn't it? What is wrong with this getting fucked up culture? I was mentioning this the other night about the Scottish and Irish people who have had their Gaelic roots taken away from us, and we've had our language destroyed, and we've become alcoholics. I think that's like, there's a Sinead O'Connor song called Famine, where she puts it very good about how we've been like abused as a race. And that's basically how we deal with it, through getting annihilated, And that's why we don't really want to face ourselves, because we're in trauma, So anyway, drink hand sanitizer. This sanitizer, people 5 times a day with a hand sanitizer, they don't know what's in that hand sanitizer. And as I said to Dawn and David in the interview, they're telling us that it's quite bad, that itself is a toxin in itself that the body has to get rid of. So the government that loves our health, they're fucking making us use hand sanitizer. They're making us fucking drink till the cows come home, folks. And this is another thing. They've opened these pubs back up, right, with this track and trace fucking bullshit. And anyone with half a brain is aware of this stuff, doesn't want to be tracked and traced, but all the zombie people are like, "Oh, they'll give you my name and address," aye. Because the last thing they want, obviously alcohol can make people open up a wee bit, and the first couple of drinks can make you social. It can be quite good in that way, but if you abuse it, then obviously it turns into something else, But a wee couple of drinks now and again, okay, it's not the end of the world, But, so they don't want people socialising and talking about this kind of stuff in your local boozer. So it's putting people off with the track and trace, because essentially they don't want us going out there at all and talking about this. Apparently in some pubs, some barmaids and that were saying that people are questioning the lockdown. I would love to be in a bar with an audience of like 20 people and just, holding court basically and giving them some information. But the cognitive dissonance out there is fucking pretty strong, isn't it? It's hard to, just get these people to think slightly outside of the box, just so they'll. Basically, when I said to Stephen D. Kelly at the end of the interview yesterday, we're trying to inspire other people to go and look at this information. I know all this stuff. I can research it to myself. The cows come home. You guys know it as well. But we're back here every night, I'm not teaching you as much, but it's a place where we can gather. But I wish we had new people in. I wish we could educate new people, because this is the mission that we have to be on. If everybody was awake to the simple thing of the virus, imagine the whole of Britain knew it, then they can't feed us their bullshit anymore, So, it's messing up our natural barrier to infection. Yeah, alcohol is very destructive. There's a fly going around I'm trying to kill. That's not very good, is it? I'm a Buddhist. I shouldn't be killing life. Didn't give any details at pub after poetry gig. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Stephen. Who's going to go home pissed from a pub and log their details? Yeah. That's interesting. They're recalling their Walmart. Yeah. We should, even, again, Don and David, they said about the washing powder that we use and the washing detergent. That's quite dangerous as well. And so even stuff that's on our clothes can actually, the skin is the largest organ in the body, so a lot of it gets absorbed into the bloodstream. So your suntan creams, your hand sanitizers, your deodorants, all your smelly stuff, basically it's a massive war on us. It's amazing that we're alive at all. Shows you the strength of the human body and its like resistance to all this stuff. To me, it's like, imagine we're a big balloon filled with air, and all this stuff will get poisoned through the food, the radiation, the programming, all the different ways that the programming is like holding us down at the bottom of the ocean, right? That's all the stuff that's holding us down. But if you take all that away, we'll be like a balloon that's just shooting up the top, when you take all this suppression that we're under. Yeah? So what about this protest, Lucy? I'm not sure protests do any good, because when you protest something, you're basically giving authority, you're begging for permission to cunts, basically, Oh, please, our Lord and Masters, please please don't make us wear a mask, please don't let us. That's like, we should just be ignoring them completely and say educating ourselves. When the truth, if we all knew this virus was bullshit, we wouldn't wear a mask. So when they come on TV and start telling us to wear a mask, en masse, we can tell them, no, you're talking pish, pal. You're talking absolute shite. When Bill Gates says he wants the truth, we'll say, well, there you go. Go to whatreallymakesyouill.com and find out the truth, Bill Gates. You're supposed to be, an intelligent guy that's trying to save humanity. Yeah. A meet and greet. Yeah. Again, it's very important. We're all isolated in our homes right now, aren't we? That's, again, another massive ill health effect, the government that loves us so much, Catch you later, Barry. Again, this guy I was talking to today, he was saying how he's living with his mother when he went back after his divorce, and he had this flu and it was all coming out of him. Then he was with his mother, and his mother's buying, he said he's never been fed so well because she buys all fresh fruit and vegetables. And but she said he's saying he's having to go out on his bike quite a lot just to get away from his mother because she's locked in a house. She's shielding herself. All these old people, they believe the BBC News. They've been brainwashed in that from a young age. So they're all fearful and stressed up and scared to go anywhere. So that's creating a massive illness in itself, mental health illness, depression, and probably other illnesses through the suppression of their natural joy and stuff, And even in the supermarkets, it's crazy. It's fucking bananas when you see these people scared. Like, I'm in there without a mask and they see me, it's like, somebody without a mask! Oh! And you can feel the tension of just people walking past each other, and that energy is palpable. I don't know if you guys feel it, but to me it's not good. So, yeah, again, you had the poetry meeting in Dundee. I'm sure that was a good event to be at. People happy to see each other and be out there. And have one in Perth, people getting together and talking and being human, stepping away from this. As I said, I don't want to be researching all this stuff. I want a nice, peaceful world, living in nature. And I'll tell you something else. The potential that we've got inside us is fucking unbelievable. There was an experiment done in Russia. I think it's called Children of Winter. If you want to look it up, right? Here's what they've done. They've got these children who didn't have any influence. Like from a young age, they had like a big area set up where they give them access to certain things and food would appear naturally for them, but they didn't have any input from outside. And these children, this is fucking actually true, believe it or not. What they started to do was they started having telepathy. They could communicate by telepathy because they weren't learning any language from anyone. So these kids were telepathic. They were having telekinesis, where they can move objects by their mind. They could teleport. They could walk on water, and various other things that we would deem impossible. But it's actually provable and documented that this actually happened. So this is again what I said to you about the balloon coming shooting up the water. That our potential inside us is vast, and this is what I think. There's a quote attributed to Nelson Mandela, which I am no fan of Nelson Mandela, by the way, because I know he was part of the Jesuits and the Knights of Malta and stuff like that, and there's a whole thing about him again with people like Mother Teresa and stuff. There's these people that get these positions of elevated greatness. There's a backstory behind it that's not necessarily good, but anyway, his quote, that if it is attributed to him, anyway, it is: our greatest fear is not our weakness. Our greatest fear is our actual strength. We're all kind of scared to step up and be our true selves based on what your family think, what your friends think, what your peers think, what your social group thinks. As you probably well aware, guys, it takes some guts to come out and talk about this stuff and to raise topics that people would shame you for or ridicule you for, yeah? But we have to kind of live up to that. We have to step up to the plate and be our true selves now. It's very important that we should be the eliminated ones. We should be the Illuminati. These demons and stuff, they've claimed all these things for themselves, like even the swastika is an ancient sign, and the pyramid's a positive thing, and the one eye is like the pineal gland, and the Illuminati, they demonize them to make us think they're bad, but actually they just use them with a negative intent. But we could take those same kind of things and have a positive intent with them, And this is what we have to do. We have to become the illuminated ones and take ownership of the earth back and put these demons in their place, basically, and show them that we're here, we're in charge, and basically claim dominion back over the earth, because we're losing it big time. So it's good to see, Stephen, that there's no masks there. That was a good thing at the meet. I'm quite pleased at that one. At protests, you need quite a few watchers. Oh, right, fucking hell, plainclothes police. I mean, the police as well. See the police in the army. This is shocking. Why are people who have police in the army and their family, they should be pestering these people to like, why are you sticking up for these corrupt cunts, basically? Why are you serving them? Because the army have, like, they call dog tags, aren't they? And the elite refer to them as like, I will set our dogs onto them. They don't think much of them. A soldier, a soul to die for us. See, when people say, oh, our boys are out there in Iraq, going to kill in the name of freedom, I don't claim as our boys. And they think they can put a costume on and then just become, a violent cunt, basically. So they do psychological tests on people they're bringing into the police, and they make sure they've got like a kind of low, IQ, and they've got psychopathic tendencies, and they're just going to be an order follower, just so they can beat the shit out of their brothers and sisters. Like in America, in where is it? Portland, they were water cannon their own citizens the other day. They done it in Turkey when I was living there in Gezi Park. They were putting tear gas in buildings and stuff. This is your supposed brothers and sisters. I mean, there's one thing when there's a group of people acting violently. Let's not talk about, Soros and his lot that go there to these events and intentionally get paid to fucking start riots. But if there is a group of evil people going around doing something, there's one thing to, stop them from causing harm to people, but actually for people speaking up in Gezi Park, they were protecting a park. They didn't want the small bit of nature that was left in Istanbul to become a fucking hotel or whatever. And they stood up for that. And then the next thing, the police and army are water cannon them. It's outrageous. These people need to take responsibility for their actions. We give our responsibility away and just say it's just my job, so therefore I take no responsibility for that. Like, for instance, I used to live in South Queensferry. That's where I was brought up. And every summer, as a young boy, I would go down. They had a beach down there. It wasn't very clean or anything. In fact, there was quite a lot of jellyfish in it, and I believe jellyfish like dirty water, so I didn't know that at the time. But anyway, there's a small beach. We used to go down there. We used to call it the Seashells. And it just reminds me about the Spanish quarantine thing. It was bullshit. But anyway, so, yeah, and then when I was 17, 18, I got a job in a food factory where I was doing that thing with the Tam Jack and the water treatment unit. So in that water treatment unit where I splashed the guy, part of my job, well, they said BP was a green company. All of a sudden it went green. And that means, we don't pollute the water anymore. But I learned that there was a valve that you opened up. You supposedly had to add acid or alkaline to it to make it neutral. And then you just pump it into the sea, into the river. And I was swimming in that every summer. 10 miles down the river, up the river, there's guys opening up all kinds of shite and pumping it into the River Forth. And then it became my job to do that. And I wasn't very happy about it. And that's why when BP basically said, do you want voluntary redundancy? We're looking to get rid of some people. I put my hand up for it. Basically, I didn't want to spend all my life doing the same job, even though it was quite a cushy number and I was getting well paid for it. I was working night shifts, so, and it was fucking, I felt like I was having a lobotomy in my brain quite a lot of the time. But is there more comments? Are you guys still commenting? Anyway, you keep chewing with that. Right. So, yeah. So that was a part of the reason why I took the money, was because I felt like I was taking part in the raping of the earth. I was complicit, taking blood money and stuff like that, working for these corporations, So people have to, even just now, I'm in this food factory. I don't want to be there because I'm packing chicken and prawns and these creatures and see the amount of wastage that gets just chucked in the bin. Like, all these animals are dying and they're just getting chucked in the bin. But I'm complicit in that madness. We should be eating fruit. I've got some fruit. Okay, it's pre-packaged fruit, and this was found in one of the trays today. But it's amazing what a good bit of fruit will do. We can get enough nutrients and stuff from fruit without killing animals, We can live at peace with animals. There's these cats at the food factory, kind of rogue cats running around, but they're scared of humans because the guys there, they made us sign a document not to feed any of the food that's getting chucked in the bin to the cats. These cats are starving and hungry and that, and it's your natural thing to be a human. It's our duty to look after animals, so you want to feed them. But if you feed them, you're going to lose your job. Like, where is the fucking humanity? Do you know what I mean? It's so these cats are scared of people because lots of the guys there, they hit them with brushes and throw things at them and stuff like that, Yeah. Yeah, it's soul destroying. You know what I had to do today? This is soul destroying, right? See, I think when we're doing these jobs that we really hate doing, I think it's like Satan just laughing at us. Our time is precious, Every second counts, And so I was doing this portering job today, which I don't mind too much. I've come off the line because my shoulder's fucking killing me. But they asked me if I could do this taping job, so I had to stand. These packets are coming out this thing like that. Literally that fast. And I've got to get this bit of tape. And there's just a stupid bit of packaging. I've got to put this bit of tape on this thing. And then turn the package around so it goes down this other bit so it gets a label stuck on it. And I had to do that for like 2.5 to 3 hours today, right? And I said to the charge hand, I was like, that's going to give me a nervous breakdown. I was fucking... You ever been in a job where you're talking about that in the co-op, yeah? You ever been in a job that it's just... oh my God, just like you're asking yourself, why the fuck am I doing this? Why am I doing this? This is soul destroying. This is like... You can't believe your life has come to this. Like, I'm better than this. I am actually better than spending 3 years of my time put in a bit of sticky tape, and then they say to you, "Oh, don't worry about it. It doesn't have to go on every one. Just do what you can." Well, what's the point of doing any of them if it doesn't have to be on them all? Then let's just forget about it altogether. It's just Satan laughing at us. It's just like, ha ha ha! Look what I'm getting used to doing. All for money, all for the god of money, you know. And meanwhile, food's grown on the trees, and I'm packing chicken for folk to buy at expensive prices in supermarkets. If we all decided in the community to all work in that factory, we could all work in a factory one day a week and all feed ourselves, you know. We could develop systems to actually make our lives free and spend most of our spare time being creative and adding to the greater good, using our unique talents to share amongst each other and serving each other through our talents that we bring here. But we don't get a chance to explore them, you know, because we're all chasing the god of money. It's like, what do you want to be when you grow up? It's like, what I can earn the most money from to give me a comfortable life, to have a nice house and a nice car and stuff like that. We don't ask the question, what is within me that I can do to best serve each other, you know, to help the human race, you know? Anyway, I go on rants just because I've got and the chickens and stuff, it's disgusting. Like, they've got these chickens these days, they're not even actual real chickens, they're like manufactured chickens, if you know what I mean. They don't actually have any legs or heads or that. It's just like, it's an invention somehow. So let's see, it questions its downloads. Wait a minute. Yeah. So anyway, let's see the next one. The old mask wearer. Hi, Nicola. Thanks for commenting there. Yeah, we're wage slaves. There's a group. Have you ever heard of a group called Gong? Kind of hippie group. There was a guy in that group called David Allen. He died a few years ago. So I went to see a group called the Electric Prunes in the King Tut's Wawa Hut. And the Electric Prunes had a song called I Had Too Much to Dream Last Night. That was their kind of famous, kind of one-track garage song back in the day. You know, garage music. So anyway, they weren't that good, the Electric Prunes. I was a bit disappointed. But the support band were David Allen's band. They were called the University of Errors. I had a T-shirt. I was like, I'm a proud graduate from the University of Errors, you know. And basically, I've made lots of mistakes in my life. I've made lots of fuck-ups because you don't get proper guidance about what life is all about. We don't get taught at school how to be a real human being. We don't get taught, you know, we just get fed bullshit and not morals and ethics and stuff like that. So we have to learn through our mistakes, which in one way can be a good thing, but in another way, it'd be better if we avoided them. But anyway, they've got a song called Wage Slaves. That's the point I'm making. So kind of look that up. University of Errors, Wage Slaves. It's a good track, and yeah, they were a pretty good band. Actually, after that, I went down to see them in London on the same tour about 4 days later. That's how much I liked the gig. He's quite a character, that guy. So you're saying, Stephen, there, that you worked as a night porter in a hotel. There's some jobs we have to do for money, eh? You just say to yourself, what the fuck am I doing with my life? Yeah, the corporations, but that's what they're doing these days. It's so hard to have your own business. Like, for instance, I've tried to do an e-video agency business. If you go to evideoagency.com, basically, I've got so much shit I can do for businesses, but I'm not money orientated. I can't chase money. There's something about it that I can't be a salesman. It's like, you want a video? No, oh well. I can't be bothered telling them all the great things that I'll do for them. But there's these people that bullshit you and the salesman stuff, you know, and they're all experts at getting you to buy products through mind manipulation, but they just keep you going round in circles. But do you actually need all this stuff? Anyway, I would like to be self-sufficient and sovereign, and, you know, I could help other businesses promote themselves, but they're killing part of this big lockdown stuff. Why aren't all these small businesses opening back up? There must be some of these businesses like totally fucking dead and impossible to bring back up. But the Amazon and all these things are still going to be there. The big corporations are just going to be, that's all it's going to be, isn't it? They want to kill the small businessmen completely and just let big corporations rule the world. Aye? So they just make it so hard, and then you've got to fill out all their forms, and because you've got to register. That's how they've basically been able to imply. Like, there's guys in the chip shop around here I talk to, and they know all this is bullshit. Because I started talking to them about one time, why have you got these 2 meter apart things on the floor and stuff? And actually, they took them off the floor after I spoke to them. I don't know if I was the cause, but anyway, we had a really good chat, and these guys didn't want to impose the social distance and stuff. And but they say they get fined from the government. Why? Because they've got a birth certificate, which means they have to register the business. So all these registered businesses, they have to follow the guidelines or else they get fined. It's always a fine, isn't it? Why is it if you're parking or speeding or doing any of these things, instead of being fined, why don't we have to help old ladies with their shopping for a week? You know, contribute to society. It's all about commerce, isn't it? It brings us back to maritime law, the laws of the sea, all about fucking making money and like that, aye. What do you do, Lucy? What's your clients? Actually, funny you say that, Mo. Attract your tribe. Would you guys, because of Facebook and stuff, people are getting censored on that. I've actually got a tribe. I've got Billy Watson TV tribe. I'm just in the process of setting it up, but it's like my own Facebook essentially, and I'm trying to get Emma to do the training for it. She's kind of been thrown into the deep end of conspiracy, and I'm trying to get her to do e-video as well. And there's a lot to learn in this stuff. But I could invite you to join my tribe, so you can come up, like be like our own Facebook, so we can share knowledge within that and never get banned. And if there's any arseholes get in there, you can either educate them or get them to fuck. So anyway, that's an option. Just talking about that because, the internet can be good for like-minded people coming together, And if it wasn't for that these days, we would feel even more isolated. Imagine they brought this out in the 80s where you've just got mainstream media, and it would be quite. We feel even more isolated. At least we can connect to some people, yeah. Like you guys, it's really good to communicate with you every night, aye? So, a soft tissue therapist. I do all sorts of hands-on treatments. Okay, natural healing. That's cool. If you've got a website, let me know, Lucy, and I'll advertise it. In fact, let's get you on one night, yeah? Try and lay off the dope. If you want to do the show at 2 o'clock one day, so, you don't have to wait till 8 o'clock, we can do that. Yeah, I'll send you the link. I'll send you an invite, aye? That'll be cool. So let's communicate in there. Let's form a wee tribe. Let's be our thing and invite other people in there and make it a cool wee place and get our videos and educate each other and connect with each other, aye? And then you suggest to me, I'm not sure if you can start groups within it. I think you probably can. I think you can start your own groups. And if you can't, then let me know. Like for instance, I've done 3 just now. It's like one for sharing cool music, because on Facebook, I share lots of music over the years of like artists with a message. I like lyrics that try and tell you something, but not many people read it or like it. But basically, so like some music can be inspiring as well. There's a good song talking about coming off dope. Have you ever heard of an artist called, what's the fucking name? Dion. He was a kind of rock and roll 50s artist, and then he became more of a singer-songwriter. He's got a good song called Born For You, which is a nice song with romantic feel. But there's a song he's got called, what's it called? Back to something. Oh, back. Let me just check that on YouTube. Basically it's a song. He was a heroin addict, Dion. It was in the 70s. Basically, your own backyard. That's it. In your own backyard. Check that song out, Dion. Your own backyard. It's basically about he had to give up heroin. He lost his wife and kids through it. And there's a line in it that says, "Don't worry, let me finish what I've got. After all, this stuff sure costs a lot." And but basically, it's got to start in your own backyard. And now he's basically free of it, and he doesn't need to get stoned to get a friend, So, yeah, that's cool, man. Come on, Mo. And again, I do want to make this not just about me. You know, I want to make it a community, yeah. And what's this mammoth weed wizard bastard? That sounds interesting. Yeah, Dion, your own backyard is the name of the song. I'll just write it here. Hold on. We have to start somewhere. Somebody said earlier, yeah, from small acorns and all that. Big trees grow, apparently. But I would recommend, if you're interested, to watch that Stephen D. Kelly interview I done last night, especially the last 20 minutes. Again, that guy's got a wealth of information, and I'll hopefully do more of them in the future. Yeah, I've actually, here's something else. If you're interested, send me an email address. When I first started doing comedy, I'd done a couple of gigs as myself, and then I invented a character. It was called the Great White Shaft. So basically, I wore a 1970s suit, and I had a blue afro, a black moustache, and an inflatable saxophone. And I used to come onto the song by the Kinks song originally, but I'd done the Chocolate Watch Band version. I'm Not Like Everybody Else. That was the song. In fact, I'll tell you a funny wee story. Emma knows the story I'm going to tell now because it's one of my favourite stories. So this song's like, I'm not like everybody else, right? So I came on, and there's a Scottish comedian right now. He's called the Reverend Obadiah Steppenwolf III, and he hadn't done that character yet. His name is Jim Muir, so he was in the audience, and apparently he was just about to leave, but he seen me putting on the blue wig, and he says, "I will stay for this guy," to his friend. So I come on, and for the first 2 minutes of the song, like, I'm not like everybody else. And then in this bar in Glasgow, I was like, and I was jumping on the tables, like, how am I going to take this higher? So I went to the door, and I ran outside the pub. So they're all looking at me through this big window of the pub, and I'm out in the street while the song's still playing, and I'm jumping around while it's going, I'm not like everybody else. Anyway, that was classic. So after it, I'd made up a cassette. I called it the Great White Shaft Hit List. And I put some songs in it, and I gave it to the audience, about 10 of them. And this Reverend Obadiah Steppenwolf III, who was inspired by me to start that character, he loved it, and then he asked for some more. So I made up basically 9 CDs of kind of music with cool lyrics and stuff, you know. So recently I gave, you know, have you ever heard of the band Goodbye Mr. Mackenzie? Well, I met this lead guy of that, Martin Metcalf, at the Edinburgh Festival a few years ago, kept in touch with him, and recently I went to the Barrowlands and got VIP pass and stuff like that, so I'm kind of friendly with him. I sent him a copy of it, because I gave it to my son. So anyway, I made a zip file of this music, so it's got these 9 CDs, and it's got a list of all the artists on it, and so you can check them out. But if you want, I can share that with you. I can send it to you through WeTransfer. Give me your email addresses. I'll load it up and send it to you all at the same time, and get some spiritual music with cool lyrics. Yeah, you probably know lots of the bands on it, but there's a good one, like for instance, Sinead O'Connor has got a song called "The Healing Room." You have a little voice inside you. That's a cool song. She's got a cool album called Faith and Courage that I would recommend. So anyway, if you like cool music, I'll share that with you. And if you give me your email addresses as well, send me them by DM, yeah, if you're watching this on a recorded stream as well, and I'll invite you to the tribe. So it'll be a 2-for-1. How's about that? And yeah, cool. Yeah, the old face mask. Here's another one. Getting ready to be a clown. Yeah, download the tracing app. This tracing app is fucking ridiculous as well, eh? Protecting the NHS. Boris going on about, we're protecting the NHS by getting a vaccination. That is 100% retarded. And obviously the second wave, folks. What the fuck is coming with the second wave? That's obviously going to be getting played at some point. So again, maybe we should get everybody into the tribe for the second wave, because who knows what's going to happen to Facebook and all that. Apparently, there's a guy, I don't trust him too much, Richie Allen, but he said he's got a contact in Google, and apparently Google, Facebook and Twitter, they're all ready to remove all websites and information about anti-vax when they're going to bring out the second wave in the vaccination. So apparently that's coming down the pike. You never know, because we have to try and. This is one thing we have to remember: is I think I said it at the start, don't give them the loose energy. We have to try and, even though it's difficult with the madness and the fucking, brainwashing that we're getting, we have to keep a positive expectation, because our thoughts are so powerful. That's why they repeat the BBC News all the time through repetition. It's like a form of black magic. That's exactly what it is. It's like a black box, the black cube, the hypnotic box, Lucifer's dream box. It's literally a brainwashing device, and the repetition is a key element of that. And so the second wave. So we have to try and expect the best. In the Stephen D. Kelly interview, he talked about bifurcation. And this is something I've heard from a few different people, how there could be a split in the realities coming. And those who have service to others can create that world. We're all helping each other. We're all kind of in tune with that vibration. But those that are interested in themselves is like a service to self. And basically that'll be the satanic world, isn't it? Because that's what being a Satanist is. All these wee people going around, to me, I see them as Satanists, all these people wearing the masks and stuff, Here's quite a good picture. This is what it feels like, guys. I'm sure you get this, right? They're all in the pollution. They're drinking milk. They're eating fucking animals. They're all doing all this stuff. And they're calling us crazy for trying to, have clean water. By the way, see the water at the taps these days? I don't know if you've noticed, but it's absolutely fucking disgusting. It's got really bad recently. I was at work today. I couldn't drink the water. I was like, no, I just cannot drink that. So I'm going to try and get some money. In fact, if you go on my website, Billy Watson TV, Stephen D. Kelly said this to me yesterday. If you want to support me by PayPal, or if you want to buy my first book that I wrote in 2012, it's on billywatson.us. So basically I'm going to put other books in there. I don't really, I've never been money driven, but I would like to, again, if you want to support me, I'll try to do Patreon so that I can do these more things. I can prepare a show better. I would, if I had more time in my hands, I would take different clips and show different things and do a proper show, But anyway, I'm just saying, if you want to chip in, I've only got 20 quid in the world. It's pretty bad. Because I'm not money orientated, I'll start a topic. Hold on, Stephen Walker. Let's see this. Days of Noah. Okay, I'm just about to wrap up. Strange frequency. Some other people have talked about the strange frequency. Yeah, some people are volunteering for this vaccine. Let me be a guinea pig for the vaccine that's not been tested. Every other vaccine gets tested, but I'll take this untested one just for the common good. People think they're actually doing good. I guess there's one part of them is, there's a good part inside them that thinks wearing the mask is protecting others, But somebody said recently, if you don't want me to wear a mask, then you wear two masks, one for you and one for me. Problem solved. Yeah, basically, the boiled water, even when you have a cup of tea, I don't think it's doing any good. Apparently, there's distillation sets you can get on Amazon. Again, I don't really want to support Amazon, but I'm saying you can get them there. And apparently the glass one is better than if you pay a bit extra for the glass one, it's better than the plastic one. But really, we should all be drinking distilled water, because somebody's done a picture of the water, when it settles and it's like brown. Plus, they're putting fluoride, and not only fluoride, what else was it? Ammonia. In some parts of England, they're putting fucking ammonia in the water. And, Emma's like, she's having problems, like urine infections and stuff like that. And what? Fuck it. She doesn't like me telling her personal details, apparently, but tough shit. I'm just making the point is, these infections can be caused by the water we're drinking, yeah? So that's basically, we need to be careful of everything we're putting into our body. You all right, sweetheart? Ah, she's cool. You know what I mean? We have to take care of our health. We have to look after ourselves and become sovereign, because all the shite that we're eating, that's why we're getting ill. You know, that's why we have these so-called illnesses. E. coli in Scottish water. I actually heard there's a guy called Mark Christopher. I would recommend his YouTube site. But he said that a lot of the water we're getting is actually sewage, believe it or not. You know? And oil before sex, what kind of oil is that? What kind of sex you having? Anyway, so but it does feel crazy. All these people pointing at us. It's just insane, isn't it? So let's do this one here. Just as we wrap up. Oh, I've done something quite mad there. I don't know how I've done that. Oh yeah. Let's see. I was wanting to try something tonight. I'm wanting to try sharing the screen as we talk, but I'll just keep rambling. Maybe try that tomorrow. So here we go. You can't control how other people receive your energy. Anything you do or say gets filtered through the lens of whatever stuff they're going through, you know, which is not just about you. So basically, we have to not see. Some people want to change other people's minds. I got into that at the start. You know, you're so concerned and passionate about this that you want to force it on other people. But again, that's not a very good energy. So therefore, I talk to people, see if you get a wee gap, and then if they're interested, then tell them some more. But don't try and impose stuff on them. You know, they have to be somewhat willing. Otherwise, you're just being another dictator. But if you keep your own energy, and then you shouldn't feel, you know, even when people get offended and they worry what other people think of them. You have to learn that what other people think about you is none of your business, really. You know, you can just be true to yourself, and what people think about you, well, that's what they think. I'm sure a lot of people actually hate me for things I've done over the years, and they don't understand where I'm coming from or my reasons for doing certain things. But if you've got your own integrity and your own conscience, that's what you have to live by. You know, you have to be true to yourself and make decisions what you think is best, and not concern yourself with what other people think, even though it's difficult because they can throw mud at you and all the rest of it. Coconut oil. Protect their privates when having intercourse. Okay. I don't mind a bit of oil in my privates now and again, so we'll check that out. Hi, Emma, says Lucy. Do you want to come and say hi? Come on. Come on. Come on. We're going to bring Emma on to say hi and bye. We're going to wrap up, but let's get our Emma on. The one that bought me this mug. Yeah, the one that makes me use the mug. Hold on, I'll close this down. We'll get Emma to say bye-bye to you. Yeah, come here. She's making herself look beautiful. Here we go. Here's our Emma. There you go. Say hi. Say bye. There you go. Behind every great man is a no bad woman, eh? She'll be great soon. I'm working on her. You can't give, you know, you've got to, you know, a wee bit. Tension is good in a relationship, you know. You can't just say they're wonderful all the time. Come on, you got to hear a laugh, folks. Was what I'm saying. Eh? Keep it real. Anyway, let's wrap up. The virus, extremely dangerous. In 2 months, it's killed 80% of our freedoms. Aye, and there's more to come. If you thought 9/11 and the Patriot Act was bad, how they get away with this shite is unreal. Stephen D. Kelly actually talked about 9/11 in my recent interview, the one I done last night, and how they pulled that one off. So look into that. And this statue thing as well. When the statue, everyone's tearing down the statues, I was basically saying we should protect our families first, never mind protecting statues. But if we're going to take a statue down, well, you can start with this one, the Baphomet symbol that all the kids think is so cool these days. Baphomet and a couple of kids there, you know, and that's allowed to be up in public these days because apparently Satanism is a religion. And the American Christian society, they were trying to be all liberal. Oh, you can, you know, any religion, you know, freedom of religion, you know, it's great for everybody. But actually what that meant is then all these other not so good religions can be freely practiced, and apparently that's all right. So anyway, that's the story. That's we done tonight's skit. Thanks very much for listening. Send me a DM with your email, and we will give you a music file and an invite to the tribe, and let's all hook up in there. And then invite other people into the tribe, and let's build it up slowly but surely. And if you want to contribute in any way, we can talk about that later. But anyway, thanks very much for listening, folks. And I'll set another one up for tomorrow night. Cheers now. Bye-bye.